Gandhi National Open University presents a program for the students of Diploma in Business Process Outsourcing, Finance and Accounting. Course code BPOI-006. Let's listen to the program, Getting Ready for the Job.
Block-8, Unit 31, Preparing for the Job. 31.4, Listening. Advertisements. Tape script 1. This is part of Check Your Progress 2.
This is Radio Live. I'm Barkha. Well, it's time now for job advertisements. You may be the lucky one who has a job waiting for you. Best of luck, all you job seekers, young and not so young. Here we go.
This ad is for those interested in working. It's not for everyone. It takes a lot to be a banking technology expert. And that's exactly what FISRI needs. The world's largest IT company has a market cap of $8 billion and over 17,000 clients. And it's now looking for people under the following heads. Banking experts. General managers. Candidates should be a BE, BTech, ME, MTech, MBA, CA. Excellent interpersonal, marketing skills and sound technical exposure is required. 11 or more years of experience in handling multiple projects in banking domains. PMP certification will be an added advantage. Project managers. Candidates should be BE, BTech, ME, MTech, MBA, CA. With about 8 years of experience. Excellent interpersonal skills and sound technical exposure is a must. PMP certification will be an added advantage. Project leaders. Candidates should be BE, BTech, ME, MTech, MBA, CA with over 6 years of experience. Hands-on exposure to the given technologies is essential. Candidates with B1 visa would be preferred. Interested candidates may call at 91-9818-327-119 to get an interview scheduled or send their resumes at careers@fiserv.co.in. Let me spell that. careers@fiserv.co.in.
31.5, Speaking. Tape script 2. Model dialogue.
Hi, my name is Pooja. Are you waiting for the interview for the scriptwriter for the RSTV?
I'm Pankaj. Yes, although I didn't realize it, this is going to be a walk-in interview. I haven't really prepared.
Well, nor have I. I thought that we just had to submit the application.
Well, is this your first job?
No, actually, I've done a short stint with Times Khabar.
Wow. Why did you leave?
Oh, it was a project for 4 months. What about you?
This would be my first job, although I have done some script writing as part of my training.
Where were you trained?
At the College of Mass Communication?
That's a really fine place.
Where were you trained?
Oh, at a local vocational institute.
Oh, that's my name announce. See ya.
Best of luck.
31.8, Pronunciation. Word stress. Numbers. Listen and tick the numbers you hear. Then listen and repeat the numbers along with the teacher.
19, 90, 16, 60, 18, 80, 13, 30, 17, 70, 14, 40, 15, 50, 80, 14, 16, 90, 50, 15, 60, 13, 17, 30, 19, 18, 40, 70.
Unit 32. Writing your curriculum vitae. 32.4. Listening. A consultant describes a good CV. Check your progress too. Listen to this advice from a recruitment consultant on how to produce a good CV. Then look at these statements and decide which are true and which are false according to the audio. You may listen to the audio more than once. Tape script.
With CVs, first impressions are everything. For some vacancies, employers receive an enormous number of applications. So it's important that your CV stands out from the rest. Firstly, it should look good, well presented, with a clear layout, with lots of white space so that the information can be located easily. Secondly, you should choose your points carefully so that your CV is concise and relevant. Keep it to one page if you can. Use the spell check on your computer. Use appropriate phrases, perhaps from the job advertisement, to express your achievements and abilities. To sum up, the keywords are clarity and impact. A good CV can go a long way in getting you that all-important job interview.
Check your progress 4. Stress in compound words.
Income, breakthrough, walking stick, absent-minded, well-known, long-standing, half-dead, swimming pool, highway, outlook.
Unit 33. Portfolio making. 33.6. Listening. Creating a web version of your portfolio. Listening. Tape script.
With the ever-increasing popularity of the web, it is advantageous for you to know how to design web pages. Consider creating a web version of your resume with the links to your digitized portfolio. It's an excellent way to display your work and impress potential employers. Placing your portfolio into a web format is extraordinarily powerful. It demonstrates that you are current and contemporary. The visual impact is striking. Portfolio websites are especially useful for photographers and artists looking to display photos, sketches, paintings, or prints on the web. If you're a writer, it can contain writing samples. It makes perfect sense for a web designer, software engineer, or writer of online content to have a website that shows their previous work. If this is the method in which you work, what better way to present yourself than online? Remember that your portfolio is a work in progress. You don't need to upload everything at once. Take it one step at a time and take the time to create a professional, polished portfolio. Keep your portfolio current. Check to make sure everything is in working order on a regular basis. That means no broken images or broken links to other sites or outdated information. If you have a link to your email address, test it to make sure it works. Add a link of your portfolio to your resume and mention it in your cover letters so employers can access the information quickly and easily. You just need to keep a few things in mind when building your online portfolio. Number 1. If you decide to use a free website to create your portfolio, be mindful of domain names and free websites that offer you space for your site. Many free sites also use banner ads to support their sites, and you have no control over what type of ad might be displayed. You would not want a hiring manager to see a pop-up of Madonna on your portfolio. Point number 2. Use images and color, but keep it neat and clean. Point number 3. Edit and update as you come across new jobs that fit your interests. When you refer a client to your website, you will be able to refer them to specific web pages that demonstrate the expertise they are seeking.
33.8 Pronunciation. Tongue twisters. Let's have some fun with consonants.
Betty bought some butter, but she said the butter's bitter. If I put it in my batter, it will make my batter bitter. So she bought some better butter, better than the bitter butter, and she put it in her batter, and her batter was not bitter. So it was good that Betty bought some better butter. She sells seashells on the seashore. The shells that she sells are seashells, I'm sure. So if she sells seashells on the seashore, I'm sure that the shells are seashore shells.
We have an extra tongue twister for you students.
Trouble is the trouble if you trouble the trouble. If you do not trouble the trouble, then trouble will never trouble you. So never trouble the trouble until trouble troubles you.
Unit 34. Preparing and facing interviews, phone and walk-in interviews. 34.3 Listening. Types of interviews. Tape script. Adapted from Randall S. Hansen. It is part of Check Your Progress 3.
The two styles of interviewing used by companies today are the traditional job interview and the behavioral interview. The traditional job interview uses broad-based questions such as, why do you want to work for this company? And tell me about your strengths and weaknesses. Interviewing success or failure are more often based on the ability of the job seekers to communicate than on the truthfulness or content of their answers. Employers are looking for the answers to 3 questions. Does the job seeker have the skills and abilities to perform the job? Does the job seeker possess the enthusiasm and work ethic that the employer expects? And will the job seeker be a team player and fit into the organization? Behavioral job interview is based on the theory that past performance is the best indicator of future behavior and uses questions that probe specific past behaviors such as, tell me about a time where you confronted an unexpected problem. Tell me about an experience where you failed to achieve a goal. And give me a specific example of a time when you managed several projects at once. Job seekers need to prepare for these interviews by recalling scenarios that fit the various types of behavioral interviewing questions. Expect interviewers to have several follow-up questions and probe for details that explore all aspects of a given situation or experience. Recent college graduates with little work experience should focus on class projects and group situations that might lend themselves to these types of questions. Hobbies and volunteer work also might provide examples you could use. Job seekers should frame their answers based on a 4-part outline. Number 1, describe the situation. Number 2, discuss the actions you took. Number 3, relate the outcomes. Number 4, specify what you learned from it.
34.8 Pronunciation. Now that you're very proficient in your English, you can pronounce this poem correctly. Read the poem first and then listen to it to correct your pronunciation. The poem is called Hints on Pronunciation.
I take it you already know of tough and bow and cough and dough. Others may stumble, but not you, on hiccup, thorough, laugh and through. Well done! And now you wish perhaps to learn of these familiar traps. Beware of herd, a dreadful word that looks like beard and sounds like bird. And dead, it's said like bed, not bead. For goodness sake, don't call it deed. Watch out for meat and great and threat. They rhyme with sweet and straight and debt. A moth is not a moth in mother, nor both in brother, broth in brother. And here's not a match for there, nor dear and fear for bear and pear. And then there's does and rose and lose, just took them up, and goose and choose, and cork and front, and word and ward, and font and front, and word and sword, and do and go, and thwart and cart. Come, come, I've hardly made a start. A dreadful language? Man alive, I'd mastered it when I was 5.
Unit 35. Group Discussion. 35.4. Listening. How to be successful in a group discussion. Check your progress 5.
In order to succeed at any unstructured group discussion, you must define what your objective in the group is. A good definition of your objective is to be seen to have contributed meaningfully in an attempt to achieve the right consensus. The key words in this definition are seen, meaningfully, and attempt. Let us understand what each of these imply in terms of action points. The first implication is that merely making a meaningful contribution in an attempt to achieve consensus is not enough. You have to be seen by the evaluator to have made a meaningful contribution in an attempt to build the right consensus. In other words, you must ensure that you are heard by the group. If the group hears you, so will the evaluator. You must get at least some airtime. If you're not a very assertive person, you will have to simply learn to be assertive for those 15 minutes. The second important implication is that making just any sort of contribution is not enough. Your contribution has to be meaningful. A meaningful contribution suggests that you have a good knowledge base, are able to structure arguments logically, and are a good communicator. These are qualities that are desired by all evaluators. One way of deciding what sort of contribution is meaningful at what point in time is to follow 2 simple rules. First, in times of chaos, a person who restores order to the group is appreciated. Your level of participation in a fish market kind of scenario can be low, but your degree of influence must never be low. In other words, you must make positive contributions every time you speak, and not merely speak for the sake of speaking. The second rule is applicable when the group is floundering. In this situation, a person who provides a fresh direction to the group is given credit. The third implication is that you must be clearly seen to be attempting to build a consensus. Nobody expects a group of 10 people, all with different points of view on a controversial subject, to actually achieve a consensus. But did you make the attempt to build a consensus? The reason why an attempt to build a consensus is important is because in most work situations you will have to work with people in a team, accept joint responsibilities, and take decisions as a group. You must demonstrate the fact that you are capable and inclined to work as part of a team. What are the ways that you can try to build a consensus? Firstly, you don't just talk, you also listen. You must realize that other people also may have valid points to make. You should not only try to persuade other people to your point of view, but also come across as a person who has an open mind and appreciates the valid points of others. You must try and resolve contradictions and arguments of others in the group. You must synthesize arguments and try and achieve a unified position in the group. Try and summarize the discussion at the end. In the summary, do not merely restate your point of view. Also accommodate dissenting viewpoints. If the group did not reach a consensus, say so in your summary. You must carry people with you. One last point. You must not agree with another participant in the group merely for the sake of achieving consensus. If you disagree, say so. You are not there to attempt to build just any consensus. You have to attempt to build the right consensus.
35.10. Pronunciation. Tape script. Repeat after the teacher.
Cost control. Market share. Express an opinion. Draw a conclusion. Break the deadlock. Illustrate the point. Beside the point. Make any headway. Reach a compromise. For the time being.
Here is a list of words that you must pronounce correctly in this profession.
Account, acquire, address, application, assessment, payment, clearing, invoice, accounts payable, loss, receivable, authorization, approval, clearing, ledger, code, operator, value, overdraft, maximization, purchase, profitability, accrued, trading, closing balance, fixed assets, ledger maintenance, capital budgeting, stakeholders, subledgers, patents, long-term investments, share capital, period close, trial balance.
Recession. Gross. Inflation. Revenue. Fraud. Funds. Valuation. Equity. Balance sheet. Profit. Loss. Ratio. Analysis. Investment. Capital. Controls. Company. Accountant. Wealth. Dependencies. Reservation. Adjustments. Depreciation. Loans. Trading. Depreciation. Capitalization. Repairs. Rectification. Entries. Copyrights. Accounts payable. Property. Intercompany. Automation.
Delivery, industry, outsourcing, documents, validate, remittance, advise, reconciliation, balances, claim, processing, recoveries, vendors, purchase orders, compliance, query, database, volumes, direct debit, inflation, budget, outstanding, bad debts, commissions, outstanding, intangible, revaluation, improvement, loan, revise, manufacturing, accounts receivable, plant, risks, timelines,
Collections. Balance. Bandwidth. Transfer. Number. Authorization. Bill. Provider. Business. Billing cycle. Currency. Credit. Check. Clearing. Close. Risk. conversion, mortgage, bankrupt, assets, sponsors, accrual, trial balance, creditors, accrued income, tangible, refinance, inventory, reconciliations, subsidiary entries, sales, bad debts, equipment, inaccuracy, variance analysis.
Standard, auditor, review, competitive, strategy, shareholders, premium, liabilities, goods, intellectual property, purchase, benefit, debentures, expenses, income statement, creditor, monetary, dividend, capital, stakeholders, statements, adjustment, wages, ledger, controllership, capital planning, impact, allocated budgets, warranty, distribution, surplus, accumulated depreciation, duplicity, consolidations.
You were listening to the program Getting Ready for the Job. Program Coordinator Dr. Geetika S. Johri. Course and Content Coordinator Professor Anju Sehgal Gupta. The participants were Anju Sehgal Gupta, Neera Singh, Rosalis Francis, Sapna Miranda, Ruby Singh, Naveen Pandita and Chandrabhan Sambyal. Recording Parvesh Kumari. Editing Naeem Akhtar. Producer Dinesh Divakar. This program was brought to you by the Electronic Media Production Center of the Indira Gandhi National Open University.